So the Las Vegas Raiders are back, and by back, I mean back to playing like absolute trash and letting all of us Raiders fans down. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the post-game analysis of what happened in that fiasco of a game last night with the Chargers and how we got pretty much manhandled by both the referees, the Chargers, and ourselves. So we're going to go over a few different facts of what led to this disaster, what the Raiders need to do to fix it for this coming game against the Commanders. So first and foremost, Gino Smith. Let's just talk about him first. Gino Smith played the worst game of his entire NFL career, only putting up 180 passing yards or 150 passing yards, I think it was. Let me double check that. I think it's 180 passing yards. 180 passing yards, 24 for 43, so basically almost a 50% completion rating, which is horrible. 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Now, one of the interceptions was, it's a desperation ball. He's just throwing it up there. Tip balls, stuff like that. I mean, it kind of happens, but you just can't have that. If you're going to have interceptions in a game like that, it's going to cost you. And we knew that Gino Smith is a gunslinger. He likes to chuck the ball really a lot, and he did last night. Throwing the ball for 43 times is way too much to rely on Gino Smith. And here's why. Because our 6th overall draft pick in Ashton Genty last night was starting to pick up some momentum. He was actually starting to get in his groove. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry yesterday, but the Raiders just weren't running him. They only gave him 11 carries, even though he is averaging 4.1, I think it's 4.1 yards per carry. So at that rate, you should be handing him the ball 25 times in a game because you're going to win on the clock. You're going to keep their offense off the field. And this dude was finally getting into his groove in week 2. We seen some really big plays from him. The ability when he's out in space, when he is out in space, you cannot tackle this guy one-on-one. It takes 2-3 guys to bring this dude down. He is special. He has an uncanny knack to just twist and turn and spin and still stay on his feet and keep moving forward. So it takes team tackling to bring this dude down. Imagine if they had given him the ball 20 to 25 times last night. We probably would have won that game. Now, that being said, I also want to talk about the offensive line because despite the fact that he still had 4.1 yards per rushing and he was getting into his groove, the offensive line was still struggling. They did better, but they were still struggling to open up holes and keep people out of the backfield, bringing him down and causing him to interrupt his motion as he's getting going carrying the ball. Also, I do want to say there was one play early in the game, and this is why he was taken out of the game, I believe, because he completely blew the play. It was either him or Gino Smith, but Gino Smith looked at him like it was him. He was in the wrong position. Gino Smith turned to his left to hand the ball off, and Ashton Genty wasn't there. And I think what was supposed to happen was Ashton Genty was supposed to come and switch sides from the right side to the left side, snap the ball, hand the ball off to him. I'm assuming that that's what the play is because there's just no way that Gino Smith is going to know that he's on his right side, snap the ball, and then turn to the left and he's not there. So I'm guessing there was a motion called into this play and Ashton didn't do it. And it just blew the whole play up and it was a disaster. But also, the Raiders were facing the referees last night. Horribly called game. There was 2 roughing the passers against Gino Smith that were blatant right in front of the referees, and they did nothing. No call. That would have kept the drive alive on one of them for sure. The other thing is blatant pass interference. Not once. The big deep ball with Dante Thornton Jr., that was so terrible. The guy is all in his face, pushing into his chest. His head is not turned back around the football. You can have inadvertent contact if the defender turns to the ball. But this dude is face to face with Thornton and has his body all up in him, hands all over him, pushing him backwards. No call. No call. blatant pass interference. The side judge is right there. He's looking right at it. Doesn't call anything. And so there was a couple of those. And then another thing that I also noticed, this is nothing new when it comes to the Raiders, but poor Malcolm Kuntz, man. This dude, I watched him literally get put in a rear naked choke almost at least 5 times last night. 5 times. Malcolm Kuntz, he is so quick and so fast and twitchy. He gets around the tackle, and the tackle literally just puts his arm around his neck and just clotheslines him. And there's no call. No call at all for holding. But then they're going to call holding on the Raiders, where we had a big play that would have put us in a scoring position instead of a field goal. They call it on, I believe it was number 66. I think Dylan Parham. And when you go look at the replay, there's no holding at all. That was a perfect block. Perfect. Hands in front of the dude, pancakes the dude. Holding where? There was no holding. So, listen, we can't beat the refs, but I'm not going to blame it on the refs. There were key plays that the refs really cost us in this game. But at the same time, I think as I was bragging about Chip Kelly making adjustments at halftime for the Patriots game, it didn't seem like he really did that, because I was really frustrated. You know, you had Ashton Genty rip off an 11-yard run where he breaks 3 or 4 tackles to get the first down, and then you pull him out of the game. And he was out for almost the entire series. Zamir White's in there. He's got -2 yards rushing. Like, come on. We spent a 6th-round draft pick on this kid for a reason. Zamir White, love him. Not a good running back. Not a good running back at all. So what is he in there doing for an entire series when your premier 6th overall draft pick is standing on the sidelines after ripping off an 11-yard amazing run where he's basically acting like a video game from Madden, bouncing off of people, hit sticking people? Doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm going to tell you what does make sense to me, and that is Box House. Box House, big sponsor of the channel. Guys, if you need an ADU, if you need a small, tiny home, they will deliver anywhere in the country. They have the best prices in the country and the best customer service. I know it because I have done business with them before. Kevin Ross is the owner. Phone number is on the screen. Give him a call. Tell him Raider D sent you. Inquire about the products they have. Also, link is down in the description if you guys are so inclined to go and check them out. Lastly, I just want to say this. I don't know what it is about the Raiders. It's as though we went through this with Derek Carr, and this is why I had a love-hate relationship with Derek Carr. He would put up 450 yards and 4 touchdowns one week, and we're all loving him. We're screaming MVP, and the next week he throws 3 interceptions and throws for 150 yards. So did we just get Derek Carr 2.0 with Gino Smith? It's way too early to tell. It's way too early to say that. Like I said, statistically, I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, I believe this was his worst statistical game that he has ever had. And so I'm hoping and wanting to see him bounce back from that, especially there's rumors that Jaden Daniels may be out for this Commanders game. So this could be an easy victory for the Raiders. I want to say that Jonah Laulu, great defensive tackle pickup. This dude got 2 sacks, lots of pressures, lots of tackles. He is the real deal. I'm really excited for this young guy and to see the energy and the passion he plays with. Max Crosby getting in there, forcing fumbles against the running backs, you know, just doing what Max does. And I seen if the referees would just call holding when you put Malcolm Kuntz in a chokehold, he would have gotten probably a sack or 2, because there was a couple of times where he just whipped right around that tackle. And if the tackle doesn't put him in basically a chokehold, he gets to the quarterback, maybe even causes a strip sack or something like that. So I am pretty optimistic about this defensive line. Secondary got terrorized last night. We've got to fix that. We had a bunch of blown coverages. Guys, we're completely out of position. And Palamau got just burned over and over and over again at that deep safety spot. So I'm hoping that he can clean that up, because we're going to need it if we're going to have any hopes of making a playoff run this year. Make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Raiders video.